Okay, Hare Krishna, everyone. Thank you so much for joining for the Srimad Bhagavatam class. We are we're gonna be doing 1.9.38, Canto 1, Chapter 9, verse number 38 today, which is part of prayers by Bhishma Dev, also known as Bhishma Stuti. So there are 11 verses which are spoken by Bhishma Dev in as a prayer to Lord Krishna just before he left his body on the battlefield. Um, so those are very nice prayers by one of the greatest devotees of the Lord. Bhishma Dev is one of the Mahajans, like role models and greatest devotees. So those are his prayers in Srimad Bhagavatam. But before we get started, I would like to chant the Mangalacharan prayers and also the invocation prayers for Srimad Bhagavatam. So let's get started with that. Namam Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namini Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharini Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschati Deshitarini Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaura Bhaktivinoda Om Jnanatimirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Utapadakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Deenabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vanchakalpa Tarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patita Nam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaura Bhaktivinoda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare. And now we'll chant the invocation prayers for Srimad Bhagavatam. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Narayanam Namaskrityam Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudiraye Nashtaprayeshu Abhadreshu Nityam Bhagavat Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtaki Krishnaya Vasudevaya Devaki Nandanaya Cha Nanda Gopa Kumaraya Govindaya Namo Namaha. Okay, so I'll share my screen to show the verse for today, which is 1.9.38. So let me go here. Is my screen visible? Could somebody just confirm?
Yes, Mataji.
Thank you. I'll chant this verse 3 times, and then after that, if any devotee would like to chant too, that will be great. Shita Vishikhato Vishinadamshaha Kshataja Paripluta Atatayino me Rasabham Abhisasar Madhvadhartham Sabhavatu me Bhagavan Gatir Mukundaha Shita Vishikhato Vishinadamshaha Kshataja Paripluta Atatayino me Rasabham Abhisasar Madhvadhartham Sabhavatu me Bhagavan Gatir Mukundaha Shita Vishikhato Vishinadamshaha क्षतज परिप्लुताततायिनो मे रसभम् अभिससार मध्वदार्थम् स भवतु मे भगवान् गतिर्मुकुन्दः. Anybody would like to chant?
Yes, Mataji.
Please.
स्थितविशिखहतो विशीर्णदंशः शतज परिप्लुत आततायिनो मे प्रशभम् अभिससार मद्वदार्थं स भवतु मे भगवान् गतिर्मुकुन्दः. Hare Krishna. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other devotees?
Sita Visheka Hato Vishrinetam Saha Staja Paripluta Atyano Me Prasabham Abhisar Prasabham Abhi Sasra Madratam Sabhavatu Me Bhagwan Gatir Mukundaha. Thank you, Mataji.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Sita Vishika Hato Vrishin Nadamsha Shataja Paripluta Atataino Me Prasabham Abhishasharamad Vadhartam Sabhavatu Me Bhagavan Gatir Mukunda.
Thank you, Mataji.
Sita Vishikahato Visirnadamshaha Shataja Paripluta Atataino me Prasabham Abhisasar Madvadartam Sabhavatu me Bhagavan Gatir Mukundaha. Hare Krishna. Thank you, Mataji.
Thank you. Thank you, Mataji. Any other devotees would like to chant as well? Okay, no problem. So we'll move ahead with the synonyms and translation. Shita, sharp. Vishikha, arrows. Hataha, wounded by. Vishirna damshaha, scattered shield. Kshataja, by wounds. Pariplutaha, smeared with blood. Atatayinaha, the great aggressor. Me, my. Prasabham, in an angry mood. Abhisasar, began to move on. Matvadha artham, for the purpose of killing me. Saha, he. Bhavatu, may become. May, my. Bhagwan, the personality of Godhead. Gati, destination. Mukundaha, who awards salvation. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki jai. May He, Lord Sri Krishna, the personality of Godhead, who awards salvation, be my ultimate destination. On the battlefield, he charged me, as if angry because of the wounds dealt by my sharp arrows. His shield was scattered, and his body was smeared with blood due to the wounds. Purport. The dealings of Lord Krishna and Bhishma Dev on the battlefield of Kurukshetra are interesting because the activities of Lord Sri Krishna appeared to be partial to Arjun and at enmity with Bhishma Dev. But factually, all this was especially meant to show special favor to Bhishma Dev, a great devotee of the Lord. The astounding feature of such dealings is that a devotee can please the Lord by playing the part of an enemy. And this line is in italics, so I'll just read it once again for emphasis. The astounding feature of such dealings is that a devotee can please the Lord by playing the part of an enemy. So that's a key line here, which Srila Prabhupada has emphasized on. The Lord, being absolute, can accept service from his pure devotee, even in the garb of an enemy. The Supreme Lord cannot have any enemy, nor can a so-called enemy harm him, because he is Ajita, or unconquerable. But still, he takes pleasure when his pure devotee beats him like an enemy, or rebukes him from a superior position, although no one can be superior to the Lord. These are some of the transcendental reciprocatory dealings of the devotee with the Lord. And those who have no information of pure devotional service cannot penetrate into the mystery of such dealings. Bhishmadev played the part of a valiant warrior, and he purposely pierced the body of the Lord so that to the common eyes it appeared that the Lord was wounded. But factually, all this was to bewilder the non-devotees. The all-spiritual body cannot be wounded, and a devotee cannot become the enemy of the Lord. Had it been so, Bhishmadev would not have desired to have the very same Lord as the ultimate destination of his life. Had Bhishmadev been an enemy of the Lord, Lord Krishna could have annihilated him even without moving. There was no need to come before Bhishmadev with blood and wounds. But he did so because the warrior devotee wanted to see the transcendental beauty of the Lord decorated with wounds created by a pure devotee. This is the way of exchanging transcendental rasa, or relations between the Lord and the servitor. By such dealings, both the Lord and the devotee become glorified in their respective positions. The Lord was so angry that Arjuna checked him when he was moving towards Bhishmadev. But in spite of Arjuna's checking, he proceeded towards Bhishmadev as a lover goes to a lover without caring for hindrances. Apparently, his determination was to kill Bhishmadev, but factually it was to please him as a great devotee of the Lord. The Lord is undoubtedly the deliverer of all conditioned souls. The impersonalists desire salvation from him, and he always awards them according to their aspiration. But here, Bhishmadev aspires to see the Lord in his personal feature. All pure devotees aspire for this. So, very interesting purport. There were some things which were, for me, it was, you know, something very new, or more than new, it was like very hard to understand and put my head around it. So like one of the things was, how could Lord, it says that his body was smeared with blood due to the wounds. So how could the Lord's body, be smeared with blood? Because we know that his body is transcendental. He does not have a material body like we have. If somebody pierces our body, our skin, there will be blood that will come out. But from Bhagavad Gita's knowledge, we know that the Lord's body is not like our body. He is Satchidananda Vigraha. His body is all spiritual. So how could there be blood from the arrows? So that was something which really just struck me, and I tried to do some research on that, and I was, it was very nice. And then there are a few learnings here, or some things, teachings that Bhishma Dev is trying to teach us through this particular prayer that he has said. So as we said in the beginning, Bhishma Dev said a set of beautiful prayers to Lord Krishna just before he left his body. Those are celebrated as Bhishma Stuti, or prayers by Bhishma Dev. They go from verse number 32 in this chapter up to verse number 42, so a total of 11 verses, and we are currently on the seventh prayer, seventh verse out of those 11. And Bhishma Dev has already glorified the Lord in the previous verses through various things, and here he's specifically talking about how the Lord charged towards Bhishma Dev, and how Bhishma Dev's arrows created wounds for the Lord, and the Lord's body was smeared with blood due to the wounds. So there are three key teachings that Bhishma Dev is trying to tell us through this. So we'll go through those one by one. So it starts with, I'm going to show the verse again. So Shita Vishika Hato. Shita is sharp, Vishika arrows, Hata wounded by. So the Lord was wounded by sharp arrows, which were dealt by Bhishma Dev towards Lord Krishna. So how to understand that? We know that Bhishma Dev is a Mahajan, which he is glorified as, one of the greatest devotees of the Lord. He's a role model for us. So how to understand that he is the one who is trying to cause wounds to the Lord. So, we as aspiring devotees, is it something that we should imitate? Should we, instead of offering a rose or, patram pushpam phalam toyam, like offering bhoga, offering flowers to the Lord, should we also try to now be offering these sharp arrows like Bhishma Dev? Uh, Very obviously, the answer is no. But why did Bhishma Dev do that? So, as Srila Prabhupada explained in the purport, Bhishma Dev was trying to serve the Lord uh, in a variety of the way. He was having a different kind of rasa, a transcendental exchange with the Lord in Virya Ras. Virya Ras is also translated in English as chivalry. So the Lord wants variety. He wants to enjoy all kinds of rasas, and he sometimes wants to enjoy the Veer Rasa. And he needs devotees to play that part. Now, if the Lord wants to fight, he cannot just fight all by himself. He needs an opponent. And so Krishna arranges such situations where his devotees can please him by playing the role of that opponent. So even when he was young in Vraj Leela, he used to have a lot of fun playing with his cowherd boyfriends, where they would take turns and they would have wrestling matches. And if somebody has lost the match, he has to carry the other person on his shoulders, and to show that, yeah. And Krishna happily many times took the lower position, that he lost a wrestling match. Can that actually happen? Krishna, who is the most powerful person of entire universe, can he get defeated by a small cowherd boy in a wrestling match? The same Krishna who killed so many demons. So how could he get defeated in just a simple match? Now Krishna is enjoying. He wants that kind of variety. He doesn't want people to always be, that I am the supreme Lord, and we are all bowing down to him. No, he wants all kinds of relationships. And so, in the same way, Lord Krishna wanted to have this kind of exchange with Bhishma Dev. And just like actors on a stage playing their parts, Bhishma Dev was playing the part where he could please the Lord by playing the role of a very strong opponent, not an opponent who Krishna could just, kill just like that. Well, for Krishna, he just has to wish and things will happen. He doesn't even have to blink an eye to do what he wants to do. So he could have killed anyone by just thinking about it. But in this role play where he was playing, where he was enjoying, he was trying to have a very equal match. He was trying to fight with a worthy opponent in terms of his bravery. So Bhishma Dev, he chose Bhishma Dev for that reason. And Bhishma Dev, as when he's playing the role of an enemy would not go and offer bhoga or offer flower garland. An enemy would, by design, offer sharp arrows and try to, win, try to defeat the Lord. And Bhishma Dev did that very well. So so Bhishma Dev was trying to serve the Lord as an enemy, and that's why that line in the purport was in italics for emphasis, that a pure devotee can serve the Lord in any way. He can even serve the Lord as an enemy if the Lord wants it like that. And Krishna, when he receives an offering, he looks at the bhava. Bhava is that feeling, that inner feeling with which the devotee has offered whatever he has offered. So when we offer bhoga to the Lord, it's not that the Lord looks at the plate and sees, oh, today it's opulent food, puri and kheer, and tomorrow if you offer simple dal and rice, it's not that the component of the or what you have offered to the Lord. He can enjoy the most opulent food all the time. So he doesn't need whatever we are offering to him on a small plate. Uh, the only thing that he is looking in that offering is the offering of love and devotion, whether we have offered our love along with that offering or not. So Krishna does not need anything from anyone. He is self-sufficient. He is the one who is providing everything in the first place to everyone. But he looks at the bhav with which the devotee has offered anything to the Lord. So Bhishma Dev was offering those arrows, but his bhav was that of a pure devotee, and Krishna was accepting that bhav. And Bhishma Dev was offering the arrows in that role play, but he knew that very well that Krishna will not get hurt. Bhishma Dev had that knowledge fully in his head. He was fully sure that, you know, the arrows that I'm offering, he did not even have that in his mind that, oh my God, maybe Krishna will get hurt. He knew that Krishna's body is spiritual. Krishna is the Supreme Lord. It will not hurt him. But he wanted to have this kind of exchange, and that's how this whole thing was arranged. This whole scene was arranged where Krishna could have a great, have this kind of exchange with Bhishma Dev. So feeling is very important. The bhav is very important with which you're offering. And Bhishma Dev was offering the arrows with that bhav of offering to the Lord. Not with that feeling that, oh, I'm going to kill this person, I'm going to defeat him, but really it was like an offering. Bhishma Dev was a great warrior, as we all know. And so his mood, so he wanted to see the Lord in a particular form. Like, gopis wanted to see the Lord as in the Shyama Sundar form, holding a flute. But Bhishma Dev wanted to see the Lord as a warrior, and a warrior, who has wounds. The blood is coming out. It's a very natural way of a warrior who is in the war field, that he will have, his body will be covered with ash and the dust of the created by the hooves of the horses. And in fact, in one of the verses just before this one, a couple of verses before, Bhishma Dev is when he's in one of his prayers, when he's glorifying the Lord, he also says that, his body is looking so great because it is covered by the dust which was created by the hooves of the horses. So the way in which Bhishma Dev is looking at the Lord or wants to see the Lord, it's a warrior form. So it's all covered with ash. Now, this is not something which we would want to worship on the altar, or as gopis would not want to see that kind of form. So Krishna would never come in front of them as a warrior covered with blood and ash and dust. But Bhishma Dev wanted to see that kind of form, and Lord Krishna, being the all-merciful, showed that form to Bhishma Dev, in which his body was covered with blood, with wounds created by the same devotee. So, so that is the teaching. The first teaching, which is coming out of this verse, is that you can offer anything to the Lord if you have offered it with love. So it's not the what is there in the offering, but it is the bhav, the feeling with which you are offering. And Bhishma Dev was trying to please the Lord in the form of a warrior and in the Veer Ras. So the Lord wanted to have the transcendental loving exchange in the Veer Ras, in the mellow of chivalry, and Bhishma Dev satisfied the Lord by doing that. And it does not mean that we should imitate. We are not Bhishma Dev. We are not at his level where we can have that kind of rasa with the Lord. For us, the Dasya Ras is what we have. It has been prescribed for people like us in Kali Yuga. So we should not try to artificially imitate that. Oh, now tomorrow I'm going to offer arrows to the Lord. Become Bhishma Dev and then think about that. So we should never try to imitate these great devotees, the kind of things that they have done. But so the first teaching is that don't look at just the activity, look at the bhav and how, and Krishna looks at that when he's having loving exchanges with his devotee. He is the bhavagrahi. He does not look at the other things, he looks at the bhav. So that was number one. And then number 2, the second teaching that comes out here is that it comes out from the word atatai. So here, atatai no me. Atatai is the great aggressor. So Bhishma Dev is saying that he is a great aggressor. He used that word for himself. He said that Krishna, that I am an atatai. Atatai is a very, very strong word. It's not just that I'm the very fallen person or anything. It's somebody who has done some really heinous crimes or very, very aggressor is someone who needs to be killed uh, as per dharmic laws. In fact, when in Bhagavad Gita also, Srila Prabhupada has explained the 6 kinds of aggressors who need to be killed. Some examples being like if somebody has tried to poison you or has tried to put your house on fire, the kind of things that Pandavas had faced at the hands of Kauravas. So Kauravas were being the aggressors towards Pandavas, and Lord Krishna explained that those kind of aggressors need to be killed. It is the dharma to kill those aggressors. So Bhishma Dev is quoting himself as an atatai. And so why is he doing that? Uh, in this scene, not in this scene when he's saying the prayers, but just before that, when he was fighting with the Lord, uh, he made the Lord break his promise. So Lord Krishna broke his vow that he would not pick up a weapon in the war, in the Mahabharat war. That's what Lord Krishna had said in the beginning of the war, that he would not pick up a weapon. But Bhishma Dev made a vow that he will ensure that Lord Krishna picks up a weapon. So they are like contradictory things. And Lord Krishna broke his own vow to uphold the vow of Bhishma Dev. So when Arjun was getting very heavily, he was under a lot of pressure. He was about to get defeated, so to say. Lord Krishna could not tolerate that, and he ran towards Bhishma Dev, and he picked up a chakra, which is the wheel, in his hand, and he started running towards Bhishma Dev, and that chakra was like a weapon. So Lord Krishna broke his vow to keep the vow of Bhishma Dev. Now, uh, somebody could say that, Lord Krishna, what kind of person is he? He broke his vow. He can't even keep a small promise. So people would try to say bad things about Lord Krishna. So Bhishma Dev is trying to remove that allegation that could come up later for Lord Krishna. What he's saying is that Lord Krishna, okay, he had said that he will not pick up a weapon at the beginning of the war, but there are always, when you are faced with a situation, you have to see a higher principle. So you can give up a lower dharma to uphold a higher dharma. And in that mode, removing an atatai, removing an aggressor or killing an aggressor is a higher dharma than keeping your word that you will not pick up a weapon. So Bhishma Dev is trying to absolve that allegation and making sure that nobody would say this to Lord Krishna, that you did not keep up your word, or you broke your word by telling people, by showing, by saying this, that Lord Krishna killed an aggressor, and that is completely fine. And in fact, that is the higher dharma that Lord Krishna should have done. So he's trying to remove that from the minds of anyone in the future that who would ever think that, oh, Lord Krishna broke his vow. No, Lord Krishna upheld a higher dharma of killing an aggressor, and so it was completely fine that he broke his vow. So removing an atatai is a duty of is a duty. So Bhishma Dev, as a great servant of the Lord, he doesn't want anybody to say any bad words about his master, and he wants to make sure that from his side, like in his relationship, in this episode that was created in which he was also a player, nobody should point a finger at Lord Krishna that he broke his vow, and for that reason he is declaring himself as an Atatai. That it was an emergency situation where, in self-defense, and when an aggressor is coming towards you, it is totally fine to kill that aggressor. Like, for example, not for example, but uh, if there is a criminal and who has been awarded capital punishment. Okay, so the criminal, when he's awarded capital punishment, there is somebody who has to actually press that button to kill that person. So it is not that the person who was pressing the button, final button to hang this criminal, gets any karma. No, because that criminal is deserving this kind of punishment because he was an aggressor. He did a lot of heinous crimes, so he is supposed to be punished. The person who is killing such kind of criminal does not get any bad karma. It's in that mode, Bhishma Dev is trying to remove any kind of possible allegation that could come towards the Lord in the future by taking a very, very lower position, and he is calling himself as an Atatai. So this was the second learning, that how a servant, a devotee of the Lord, wants to make every effort to make sure that the master's reputation is not malign, is not affected in a bad way. Uh, he never does anything which can cause people to think bad about, say bad words about his master. He's in fact always looking for opportunities how to glorify the Lord and to remove any kind of bad spots that could come on the character. So that's what Bhishma Dev is doing here, and we can also implement something like that in our own lives. Always glorifying the Lord. Okay, and then the third teaching which comes out of this verse is from this word prasabham abhisasar. Prasabham is Prasabham in an angry mood, and Abhisasar began to move on. And in the purport, when Srila Prabhupada was explaining, he said, like lovers. So Abhisasar is again a very interesting word. And here Bhishma Dev is trying to explain how Lord Krishna was running towards Bhishma Dev, just like a lover who's loving towards his beloved with full emotion, even though Arjun was trying to catch hold of Krishna and trying to stop him from doing this action of, breaking his vow, picking up that wheel and running towards Bhishma Dev. Arjun was catching hold of Lord Krishna's legs, but Lord Krishna was unstoppable. He was moving like in a mad, in a very angry mood, and it was for Bhishma Dev, how he was thinking was that, oh, I have the full attention of Lord Krishna on myself. And it was like an exchange between two lovers who are madly in love with each other. And that's the situation of Lord with devotee. Lord loves his devotees like, there is really no comparison. In our material world, we have, some of us, have experienced this kind of love between opposite genders, where you have that strong attraction towards the other person. And in that kind of relation, sometimes you can get angry with the person and things like that. But Bhishma Dev so Bhishma Dev was experiencing that Lord Krishna is charging towards him, not like an enemy, but he was really looking it like in the mood as if a lover who is fully madly in love but is currently angry is moving towards him. So he was able to see through the love of the Lord. He was not saying, "Oh, I'm getting frightened and he's about to kill me." He was only saying that he has the full attention of the Lord right now, and the Lord is like overcome with that love, and he's moving towards him just like a lover moves towards a lover. So Abhisasar and Prasabham, like with angry mood, and in a strong, with a very, very strong feeling of love, the Lord was coming towards him. So we can think, so one example or one example could be how Prahlad, when he saw Narsinghadev, Narsinghadev was in a very fierce form, with long nails, like a lion. But for Prahlad, those nails were looking like ornaments, those sharp nails with which he had torn apart the chest of Hiranyakashipu. Those same nails, Prahlad was saying that Tavakara Kamalavare, and in that prayer, he says that those nails are so beautiful. So for a devotee, um, for Prahlad being a great devotee, those nails were looking like an ornament. So Bhishma Dev similarly was seeing love in Krishna's anger, and that Krishna was looking even more sweet when he was in that angry mood and charging towards him. So only a devotee can see like that. So for a normal person, if somebody would have looked at Narsinghadev, they would not have gotten that kind of loving emotion towards the Lord, even though the Lord was displaying such a fierce form. Similarly, when if you just look at Bhishma Dev and Krishna is charging towards Bhishma Dev, in supposedly trying to kill Bhishma Dev, how could a normal person think? How would a normal person think? Uh, so just try to change the. So just try to apply it in trying to apply it in our life. In our life, we are not Bhishma Dev, and Lord Krishna is not charging towards us with a wheel in his hand. But we can see when we experience difficulties in our life, small or big, those are like those, it's as if somebody is trying to kill you, or somebody is trying to put you in a very difficult situation. And many times people think, oh, God is doing this to me. They that as if that God who has this chakra in his hand is trying to kill me. So if it was a normal person, not Bhishma Dev, he would have felt, oh, Krishna is trying to kill me and put me in a wound me, so put me in a bad situation, difficult situation. In our lives also, we can, difficult situations come towards us, and we could either say that, oh, God has done this to me, and we say that all my troubles are because of God. But if we have a mood of a devotee, how Bhishma Dev was having, we would see the love of the Lord. even even in the dire situation, in very, very uh, terrible situations also, a devotee can see the love of God in that situation. Instead of blaming the Lord, the devotee would think that, oh, this is the love of the Lord which is coming out, and it is for my good. It is for my ultimate good. In fact, the last word of this verse is Mukunda. Bhishma Dev is addressing Lord Krishna as Mukunda. Mukunda means the giver of liberation. So Bhishma Dev is seeing the Lord in that form, that I'm going to get delivered, I'm going to get mukti from Lord. All my ahankar will be, the Lord is coming to kill my ahankar, and when I leave this body, Lord is going to accept me, because he knows that he's going. If, he knows all that thing, that if you leave your body in the present of in the present of Krishna, you go back to him. So he knows that Krishna, when he's coming towards me to kill me, he was very happy with that, because now I can go back to Krishna and live forever with him in the spiritual world. So Krishna is going to deliver me from this body and take me, accept me as a servitor, in a permanent way in Golok Vrindavan. So Bhishma Dev was very happy. So similarly, if we can also think, whenever we are put into some difficult situations in life, if we can see those as acts of love from God, instead of trying to blame him, like many people do. I have so many people in my life who have just turned away from God, unfortunately, when they were faced with some bad thing, like losing their loved one, just blaming God for that. the other way, you know, if devotees are devotees can see these kind of examples from scriptures and try to learn that whatever be the bad situation, you can still see the love of God, and you can see how there is something which is for your good, because of which God has done that. So devotees have that full faith. So these were the three teachings that I thought of sharing with you, which is just to summarize those again, that Lord Bhishma Dev was fighting with Lord Krishna in Veer Ras, and his arrows were as good as offering roses to the Lord, because Lord wanted to see this kind of exchange. Um, yeah, so that was one. And then Bhishma Dev called himself as Atatai, and he was trying to remove any doubts from any person, that or to make sure that nobody puts that allegation towards Lord Krishna that he broke his vow. Because so he was saying that Lord Krishna upheld a higher dharma of killing an Atatai, an aggressor. So nobody should put a finger towards the Lord that he broke his vow. So that was number two. And the third one was how Bhishma Dev was looking at the Lord coming towards him as if a lover is coming towards a lover. He was not looking at Lord Krishna as somebody who's he should be afraid of, that he's about to kill me. He was only looking at the love of the Lord. And similarly, we can also try to see all situations in our life as a loving offer from Lord. So I'll stop here. And if there are any questions, corrections, sharing of realizations, please, devotees, feel free to do that. Otherwise, we can stop early today as well. Does anybody have anything? Probably not. So we can stop here. Thank you very much, everyone.
Thank you very much for your nice lecture, careful word by word revelation of what the intent behind the message is of an amazing pastime, an amazing devotee, and of this most amazing Lord. I heard something a while back from Narayan Mataji when I was listening to the lecture on this. And she said something very wonderful, kind of along the lines of, Bhishma Dev is, Lord Krishna is moving towards Bhishma Dev like a lover. And she made the analogy how the gopis and Lord Krishna have this, Madhura Ras. And Lord Krishna is moving away from them like a lover. Kind of like how Lord can act in a different way in reciprocation with the mood devotee. So I thought that was very interesting. So thank you for sharing this in pastime. Anybody else want to share a question, appreciation, etc.?
Thank you very much, Mataji. The way you described the analogy of how devotees see the love and the mercy of the Lord even in difficult situations, and that analogy that we are deriving from the verse from Bhishma Dev, that is really wonderful. Thank you for doing that.
Thank you.
So we'll be having, if nothing else, Grace Damodarlila Mataji ki jai, Srila
Prabhupada ki jai.
Bhai Sachinandan Dev ki jai. So today we have a special guest at the temple, Vinara Prabhu, the throughout ISKCON for his activities of book distribution. And he's going to come for a lecture at 11:30. Please try to come at 11:30 and hear his realizations. He's on a tour of appreciation. So he will speak on appreciation.